normally when people talk about eating clean,
Chicken.
definitely. It all has to do with your nutrition, the nutrients, your macronutrients. Of course, your micronutrients are very important as well. Your vitamins, your minerals, your water. Um, but when it comes to doing calculations, figuring out exactly how much of what that you need, a lot of the focus is put on macronutrients, your fat, carbs, and protein. And so when you hear people talk about eating clean or eating dirty, normally what they're referring to is the source of your nutrition. So like, for example, fat. Well, you can get fat from a lot of different places. You can get fat from milk. You can get fat from meat. You can get fat from oil. You can get fat from donuts, cookies. You get fat from a
Cake.
lot of places. Cake. But
Coffee. Starbucks. I'm
yes,
done. Sorry.
them blended coffees. But the difference as far as, let's say, fat, the nutrient fat, whether it's a clean source or dirty source, would be the amount of saturated fat. So if you're taking in fat and it's saturated, well then that will be considered a dirty fat, opposed to a unsaturated fat. So something like a saturated fat or dirty fat will be what you would get from a cookie or a pie or a cake. It's fat that is solid at a room temperature, saturated fat. And then on the flip side, something that you would refer to as a clean fat will be a unsaturated fat, which is normally liquid at room temperature, something like olive oil. See? So it's a big difference between olive oil and, fat that you find in a chocolate chip cookie or butter or something like that. And so the same thing with carbohydrates. When they talk about clean and dirty, eating clean and dirty, you look at carbohydrates, you would say, well, a clean carbohydrate will be something like brown rice, sweet potato, whole grains. The reason why these are clean carbohydrates is because they're complex carbs. The sugar content is low, the fiber is normally higher, and it takes your body longer to digest and absorb it. Therefore, the energy is more spread out throughout the course of the day. Compared to
Chocolate chip cookie.
right, chocolate chip cookie with the sugar carbohydrate, pie, cake, donuts, Kool-Aid, that good Kool-Aid that y'all love. All of these carbohydrates they would consider dirty. Why? Because it's sugar. Why is sugar not good when you're cutting or you're dieting? Because the sugar is gonna spike your insulin. And when your insulin spikes, that means you go into storing energy, right? Which you don't want to store energy if you're trying to cut. If you're cutting, you're burning fat, you're losing weight, you don't want to be storing, you want to be breaking it down and using it. So that's why you don't want sugar in your diet when you're cutting. So, clean diet, dirty diet. Well, if you're cutting, you definitely want to be clean. Definitely.
Even like last week, we were hitting our macros, we were hitting our fat, carb, and proteins.
Well, you was, I wasn't.
Okay, anyways, I was for the past 2 weeks. However, yes, I was meeting them. However, I stayed at that 190, 191, because it was the source of the fat, carbs, and protein that I was getting. We tried to be creative and add some Pop-Tarts, add some like little mini homemade pizzas. However, it fit our macros, but it wasn't clean, so it didn't help us in losing weight and burning the fat. It was putting it on it wasn't putting it on, but it was maintaining my level of fat.
And then along with that, when your diet, when you're not keeping it clean and you got the sugar in it, it makes it hard to stick to the diet because the more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want.
Yep.
So it's like You consume some sugar, your hormones are kicking off, your dopamine and all this is being secreted. It puts you in the state of the euphoric state or whatever, and it makes you want more. And so when you're eating the dirty foods or the foods with the fat and the sugar, then it's always going to be a smaller portion, right? Like a chocolate chip cookie versus brown rice, right? You eat this chocolate chip cookie, it has a lot of fat and a lot of sugar in it, and it's a little bit.
You've maxed out, you've had 2 bites.
Right.
You can eat a whole thing of broccoli, 174 grams of broccoli, and be stuffed for hours. And
Yeah.
cookie you eat and you're hungry again in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you eat that cookie, you want more. It's because of what the sugar is doing physiologically. It's about the hormones that you're secreting now. The sugar kicks in, you start secreting different hormones, the dopamine, the insulin, and boom. And it affects you. Now you're craving because you want to store energy. So that's where the craving, now you're craving, to eat more of it so you can store more energy.
Same thing as, we were speaking the other day, if you are on a drug, if you were doing, heroin or any of these drugs, once you get it that one time, you want it again and again and again, so they say. Same thing with these foods, this candy, my biggest downfall, like I said, was back in the day, was my blended coffees, the frappuccinos, the white girl drinks, right? All the time. I can thank it for, my weight gain the past, 3 years of my life. 2 years. Whenever I was working at the coffee shop, it was, because I would drink that blended drink, I would start craving it and drink another one and another one and another one, and then I blew up.
Yeah. And that's how it works.
It was hormones.
So the sugar, when you're eating these high fat, high sugar foods, your body is responding in the same way that if you was taking cocaine or heroin or something. You're being stimulated, causing your body to release certain hormones that make you want more of it. It's the same situation. So yeah, definitely, man, you talking about cutting weight, dieting, losing weight. Definitely recommend that you take in clean nutrition, whole foods, your fats, olive oil, coconut oil, macadamia nut oils. The oils are good. They're liquid at room temperature, so they'll be less likely to clog your arteries, right? Your carbohydrates, definitely want to be clean with that. Whole grains, vegetables. All right, vegetables aren't really high in much nutrition, but they're fillers. When you eat the broccoli, the asparagus, the leafy greens, they help to fill you up so you're not as hungry.
That's another thing too that I know people have asked me, or that I've seen, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating all this fruit. Yes, fruit is a healthier food, however, why is it not good when you're dieting? Is it, the calorie sugar contains a lot of the,
Right.
or
the
the
sugar.
the
It's still
the
sugar.
fruit, contains a lot of sugar, which gives it that sweet taste. That sugar is gonna hold on to, the insulin and hold on to the energy, so you don't lose that weight. So, when you are leaning out, you also want to, watch the amount of fruit you eat. Also, definitely, that's one of the biggest things that people like, oh, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating a bunch of fruit. Thumbs up, at least it's not cookies and candy and Snickers. Yeah. However, if you're trying to lose weight, that's not the way to go either.
Right, definitely, because it's all about that sugar. Even though the fruit has the natural sugar,
sugar.
that you would rather consume the natural sugar over all the processed stuff like a Snicker bar. However, like she would say, at the same time, when you're cutting down, when you want to lose weight, you want to keep your sugar intake as low as possible. Because the sugar is gonna cause you to secrete more insulin. Insulin causes you to store energy, whereas you want to burn energy. So that's the whole point about the sugar. And then so also, you definitely want to keep the carbs clean. Rice, brown rice, You want carbs that are low in sugar and high in fiber. So you're looking at brown rice. You're looking at your sweet potatoes.
The extreme wellness tortillas.
Definitely extreme wellness tortillas. The mission tortillas that we got that's high in fiber. The mission tortilla wraps.
Those are carb. They're
carb balance
carb
mission
balance,
wraps.
Yep.
Your protein, same thing, clean, right? So you can get protein from beef, or steak. And if you get protein from beef or steak, of course it's not gonna have any carbs, beef or steak. But what if it's not seasoned or injected with different flavorings or whatnot? But just beef or steak, no, it's not gonna have any carbs, but it's gonna be high in fat. Okay, and so when you're cutting and you're dieting down, you want to control the fat. You want to be able to keep the fat under control. So ground beefs and steaks probably aren't an ideal protein source if you're cutting. So you want to go with lean protein choices. Chicken breast, of course, everybody knows if you're in any way involved in bodybuilding or anything like that, chicken breast is the first thing you go to. Very low in fat, no carb, very high in protein. Ground turkey, which we use a lot. We like to get the 99% fat-free ground turkey. Very low in fat, no carbs, very high in protein. And like I said, it's all about you figuring out for yourself. Once you get to playing around with the sources and your nutrition, you'll figure out what you should and shouldn't be doing.
And I want to say too, also, because with us both talking, it goes into a little bit of targeting two different, people that are kind of like, what's health and fitness? I kind of think about it, the people that are already well into it. But I also want to say, that you do need, I know we're talking about fat, carbs, and protein, what not to eat, which ones are your clean ones, dirty ones, but you do need to make sure you do get enough fat, carbs, and proteins so you can fuel yourself throughout the day. If you're not taking in enough, you're going to put your body in a catabolic state, causing it to hold on to that fat. So along with watching, what you eat, as far as clean or dirty, you need to make sure also that you're taking in enough of the foods to keep your body going.
Definitely. A lot of people think that, oh man, I gotta cut this fat out, cut all my fat. No.
Or I'm gonna just starve myself to lose weight.
Yeah, because fat is essential. You need fat in your diet, for multiple bodily functions, for essential hormone function and whatnot. Yeah, you need fat. So,
and
but
carbs,
you need carbs in your diet. Now you got a lot of people that go zero carb, and you got people that go on the Atkins or the keto and all that. Fine, more power to you if you do, if you don't. But at the same time, scientifically you have to understand how your nutrition affects you and how it will affect you if you did not have it. And so just being well informed, the information is out there. Find it, look it up, research it, if it's important to you. And so basically, that's really about it. Your fat, carbs, your protein, looking for sources, clean. And that's the difference, Either you're going to eat a chocolate chip cookie or you going to eat some brown rice. What you going to do? You going to eat a chocolate cake or you going to eat a sweet potato? Right? You going to eat Italian sausage or you going to eat some chicken breast?
Or a turkey sausage.
Hey man, tell us what y'all think about clean and dirty dieting. Whether you're cutting, whether you're bulking. Hey, comment on this, subscribe to the channel, and we're gonna holler at you.
See ya.